10864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
For the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
All is right in the world, everybody. We're kicking off today with a bang. Head coach Matt Ulmer is here. How are you, Coach?
What is it?
Oh, I didn't know if we were okay to do handshakes. You know, we're not back to that yet, are we?
All right, okay, that's fine.
Okay, here we go.
Is this here? It's here, there. That's what it was.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
That's a couple.
It's actually been more than a year since we did that. So
wow,
wild. I'm glad that you're here, though. We have a new addition to the studio too.
I missed this. I feel like I didn't get to see this in person, and I feel like I'm missing part of it.
You never did see it in person,
Not
did
in
you?
person, no. And I feel like, dang, like this would have been just to put my fingers through it.
Here, Scott's gonna have to adjust some camera. Those of you who are listening to the show, just know that we have a new guest permanently in the studio. It is what do we call this? Pandemic Joey, quarantine Joey.
I called it frightening when I walked in.
He did. So, what do we think, everybody?
Man,
should I have kept the hair?
So my question is, could you run your fingers through it and not get stuck, or could you go all the way through?
1,000% no.
You're stuck.
Then
you have to reposition
I have such curly hair. It's
like
crazy.
a maze, like you had to find the way through it.
I don't have Justin Herbert flow.
Oh, okay.
I have Joey Mack curls.
Well, that flow is.
Well, I mean, I don't know if Scott still has it, but we did a side-by-side of who wore it better between me and Justin, and we all know that Justin Herbert wore it better.
Same arm, but different flow.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, obviously.
What a good-looking guy that guy is.
Yeah, so we discovered this today around the office, and so we decided to bring it in. And
come here.
You know, did you get your cardboard cutout back?
I don't know. I didn't.
You had one, right?
I don't think so. I think I was actually there.
Yeah, you were, but I thought there was a cardboard cutout of you also.
Well, then that needs to be located.
I think, okay. Hey, call out to anybody from the athletic department who might know where Matt Ulmer's cardboard cutout is.
I thought I signed something for hair approval for.
Did you?
I thought that was a. I don't know. I'll have to double check.
We were discussing before we went on the air today. This is the Oregon Volleyball head coach, by the way. They're going to have a green and yellow scrimmage coming up on Saturday at 4 o'clock that we're going to talk about. It's great to have you back in the studio, though.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, no, for real. It was really, really just bad on a lot of levels, as we all know over the last few months. But the worst thing for me was Zoom was fine, but it really sucks doing interviews on Zoom. Especially when you get a guy like this who actually, for the life of me, I don't know why, likes having conversations with me on the show. So just thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking with us and doing Zoom. And I'm glad that your office is probably a little bit more decorated now than it was when we talked last spring.
It's a lot more decorated.
Did you finally get
Can I put this in my office?
Oh, man.
Like, does this really need to be a part? Like, you have a piece of me. I feel like I should have.
I mean, so we have permanently in the studio, we have a Matt Ulmer volleyball, the first career win. This was the volleyball that got that kill, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Matt Ulmer's first career win. It lives permanently right there.
It looks nice
on the desk. It looks great. I mean, that's true.
Because you know where I'm thinking, it's a glass. The offices are glass.
Sure.
I feel like I could have you looking out, so that everybody could just be like, "What is going on?" Every time they pass by, like,
how many people?
What do we think about that? Can we get a vote?
How many people in the practice courts versus on the street, whichever orientation you want it, right?
No,
for that
street. I
day.
think it needs to be for
But
everyone in Eugene.
How many people would double take and be like, "Oh my, who's that?"
Yeah,
Like,
I guess it
it's
could
a scary
cause
face.
it
We
could
know.
cause accidents, and I think that could be bad on
Am
the
I
log.
liable or are you liable for that?
I think it's got to be you.
Sure.
Yeah, because of the hair.
That makes sense. Can't lose the head coach.
Not your wife, because she doesn't want the hair.
She was a.
So she's the one trying to keep everyone safe.
Let's say that my wife, she enjoyed the novelty of the hair. It made me look like I was in high school again, which is when we met. She really hated the beard.
Yeah.
She really hated the beard. I don't have a beard in that photo.
Oh, okay.
But she really hated the beard.
I'd really like to see a picture of the beard also.
Oh, man.
Was it with this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I could find it. I was full on.
We all make bad choices. Just normally you're younger when you do that,
I got a few more years of youthful bad choices in me.
Okay.
Just hold my beer.
Is that a goal? Yeah.
No,
okay.
It's not. But now I feel like you're challenging me, and I'm competitive.
I'm a little
so.
worried, to be honest.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Greeting Yellow Scrimmage is coming up on Saturday. We also, of course, have the alumni match, which is one of my favorite days in any sports season. Any of the sports that have the ability to do an alumni meeting like that, I just think it's so much fun. Tell us a little bit about your squad and the off season. It was a short off season. What'd you guys do? What'd you do? What'd your team do?
Yeah, short off season. Hopefully the team went away and they got some downtime and they got to be with their families. Again, I think one of the hardest parts about last season was we were really in a bubble here, trying our best to isolate and stay away from other people, and that included their families, their friends from home, etc. So they were able to go do that, I think, this summer, and it was short. I mean, it was 2 months. It was June and July basically. For me, recruiting opened up mid-June. So all of a sudden it was bam, and we stopped practice at the end of May. So, that was it. Wow. So, and then personally, I had a child. Not me, my wife actually did. But
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So Harlow Faith, she's the best sleeper in the house. Good for her.
Really?
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Yeah. No.
No, I know. It's crazy.
No.
Such a blessing. Like that's worth a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's my favorite.
Don't tell anyone else that.
Yeah, that's recorded now. Oh well. But she's my favorite. And so that was great. And then
wait, is all it takes to be your favorite just sleep through the night?
Let me sleep through the night.
Sure. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that don't let me sleep through the night.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So it's actually a really hard list, I feel like, to climb up.
Climb that list.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Tough ladder. All right.
Yep. And then head coach Erica Dillard, or assistant coach Erica Dillard, she's due here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
With their third.
And
Dave Butler is engaged.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
it's a lot of life changes
There's
around
a lot
Oregon
of stuff
volleyball
going
and the
on.
coaching staff.
Yeah.
Which I will say, so I saw Coach Dillard in the hallway a few weeks ago, and I said, so you're just going to go for a new record of, have a baby and then coach in a volleyball match? Because so she said it was about like 6 days, like birth to coaching again, and that woman's a rock star.
Yeah. No, she's in practice still, like teaching blocking and things like that, and it's like, yeah, women are amazing.
Yeah.
I know that every day, but women are amazing. So if it were me, my feet would be up and I'd say, give me another drink,
Sure.
So yeah, she's still she's demoing out on the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
Matt Ulmer, Oregon volleyball head coach. This is kind of cool though. I mean, I think it's awesome when any time you get a team like yours that has sort of that family culture. You guys as a staff obviously are that way. We've talked about that before. You guys are all friends and coworkers. I feel like your team must really take on that personality, and you guys essentially have an entire family on your roster that kind of supports you through this. What's that like? I mean, what is that dynamic like when you are going through life changes? Then you're such a role model for all these young people. You're their coach. I mean, that's quite the dynamic for your squad.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a great example for our student athletes, to see what young families are like and how you can work and have a family life and try to balance that the best you can, from a male perspective and a female perspective, which I think is important. But I mean, our kids are the lucky ones because they get to be around the team.
Sure.
And what an amazing thing that is for them to just have all these friends, in their eyes, that they get to go hang out with. And, when the team comes over or they get to be around them or just play games with them or whatever that is, it's just what an influence that is for them, So just really thankful for that. And this group, yeah, we're all back. We added 4 freshmen, but it's the same group from before. And I feel like we are a very cohesive, unified group. And last year was a really it was a great year for us as far as the direction we want to be going in and, the level of commitment we want to give to the team. And and have bigger goals. And I think, we got a taste at the end. We didn't like how it tasted when we lost to Purdue. And we feel like, we can play better. And so I think the group, to me, looks refocused and ready to go and see what we can do.
I have to ask you a little bit more about your squad and this young group coming in. Tell us about some of the newcomers, the new faces, the new names that fans should know.
Yeah, Elisa Gee, Daly McClellan, Colby Neal, and Reagan Hope. Those are the 4 freshmen. And they're I know they're the youngest people on our team, but they seem very old. They're very experienced for prep level players. They're really well-rounded. They've played at highest level. It's been a really seamless transition, I think, for all of them. They just jumped right in, and you're not having to slow down, and they're keeping up with a pretty talented team. So love their attitudes, love their personalities. They're all living together in at a townhome, during the summer, and so the 4 of them are bonding really well. And one of the things I really appreciate about our leadership and our older players is they really mesh well with the younger players, and that's a priority to them. So,
that's cool.
So just to keep that culture, that family atmosphere, everybody's a part of each other's lives, and I think this group is it's going to be a fun one to watch.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to talk with you a little bit about the schedule, the exhibitions ahead, and then the schedule itself. But I also have to ask you a little bit about how cool was it just as a volleyball person to see Team USA take home that gold medal?
So cool. We've been so close.
Yeah.
We've had some amazing teams and just amazing women representing our country, and that have fallen just short of their goal of winning a gold. And many of them are friends, and so just to see, I think, all of them rally behind the team also just made it feel like a huge family atmosphere, right? It really did feel like our country was all really bonded and just really trying to will on this group. And they were just, they steamrolled. They kicked butt, and they were on a mission, and nobody else had an answer for them. So just a fun style to watch, but just the personalities come out, and they have a lot of really, really good ones, and great coaching and great team dynamic, and couldn't be happier for all of them.
Talking about Team USA, too, you've got some athletes, both past Ducks and current Ducks, that have competed with Team USA, that have been in that program.
Yeah.
How valuable is that experience for those individuals that have been able to do that?
Yeah, the international level, it's just if you can be successful at the international level, you can be successful anywhere, right? So, I think just the experience that you get, just being around other people that are so driven. I always say to recruits, that's one of the best things about Oregon is you're surrounded in every sport by people that want to be professionals, that want to be at the U.S. level. And so you just kind of see what that's like, and you can talk in the same way. And so I think for any of our student athletes that have been able to do that, I think they gain a lot of confidence, just by going and being a part of it, and with success or what else. But they get just so much experience from that that they bring back to the team, and I think it helps their game grow.
Brooke Dunaviller's done it. If I'm not mistaken, Reagan Hope has done it coming in. Am I missing anybody else on the roster?
On the current roster?
Yeah.
Colby Neal was involved
Wow.
this past summer also, yeah. So, we've had quite a few in the pipeline. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Matt
really
Ulmer,
cool.
Oregon Volleyball head coach, joining us. Okay, so what's the schedule right now? You guys are back to practice. Your birthday was the first day of practice, which I feel like happens occasionally for you.
I think
right?
it's like meant to be. It's either report day or first day of practice every year. Yeah, it just lands right on the day.
So
which is fun because, when I'm younger, it's like you're not in school yet, so you don't get to see your friends. So now it's like, hey, I got the team together. So,
and
I'm paying them to be there, so they have to show up, which is great. So I know like all the RSVPs are going to be in positive. It's like if they don't come, they're in trouble. It's like I love that.
Sure.
It's required that they celebrate me on my birthday.
Sure. Well, speaking of celebrating on your birthday, we actually got something ready for you because we knew that you probably wouldn't go for the socks and sandals. It's pretty hot out, so Scott just threw this together for you, and I hope that it just really makes you happy, and it's a happy belated birthday from us to you.
God, I look so angry. Don't I?
I don't know where Scott got this
If I was
picture.
wearing socks and sandals, I feel like I'd have a big smile on my
Scott?
face.
It was that picture that you took with the ring light last year.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, then I was angry.
Yeah,
There we
yeah,
go.
that's great.
good.
That was from
That's so
Coach
good.
Dillard. She
Oh,
fondly
Yes.
took a picture
Yes.
of Coach Ulmer doing a Zoom interview in his office with the light set up, like the ring light, and that was the result.
Yes.
So
Be careful of the people that you put around you. It's like
sure.
it's-
Well,
yeah.
it's still Dillard 2, Ulmer 2 over there on the scoreboard. It's kind of hidden behind the Zoom computer now, but we've still got Dillard 2,
No, I appreciate that.
Ulmer
That's
2.
Yeah, that needs to be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take the tie. Like I said, it's a lose-lose for me.
It really is.
So I think tie is the most agreeable thing we can do, and
maybe we'll just leave it at 2-2 forever. Might have to we might have to frame that whiteboard and get you a new one, Scott. I think that might be the play. So you guys are practicing now, though. You got your first scrimmage.
It's a piece of art. It's a piece of art.
Yeah, that's right. It is a piece of
It
art.
is. It's history right there.
it can be both.
It could be both.
Yeah. Saturday.
Yep.
You guys get a chance to compete at Matthew Knight Arena, green and yellow scrimmage. What do you look for there? And then what's the schedule ahead for your squad? What do you hope to accomplish heading into the start of the season?
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to investigate more and see, what we have and what the best fit's going to be. I know we can, run it back like we had last year, the same lineup, and I think we're trying to figure out, is that what's best? Is there another, are there some changes we can make to take us to another level? I really try to not pigeonhole people. I always try to just keep my eyes open and see what they're showing us, and then from there try to be creative and put together the best unit that we can. And we have a lot of really talented people in our gym. There's no way to get them all on the court, so we're going to have some, a handful of top 50 recruits that aren't going to be playing, which I know is a good problem to have, but it's still a problem, and so I think we're just trying to figure out, the best way to go about it. So, the next few days and then the 2 scrimmages that we have, we're really just trying to gather as much information as possible.
Green and yellow scrimmage, 4 o'clock at Matthew Knight Arena on Saturday. And then the following Saturday, we'll talk about this a little bit more next week, the alumni match, which is always a fun time anytime you get the alumni to come back. Okay, I have a couple things for you. One, Tobias says you need to have a pair of socks sewn into a pair of sandals just for you.
Oh, I like that.
So that is beyond my seamstress skill.
Can we get a prototype, Tobias?
Yeah, I mean,
is that something you feel like you can?
Is that something we can do? Like, could we,
That might be a marketable thing.
I feel like the University of Oregon's School of Product Design.
Yeah.
This could really be a fun project. You got any student athletes in that program?
Design.
We could figure it out.
Yes,
we could find that. I think we're onto something here. We'll see how
Tobias,
that goes.
I like that.
Also, Williams says that I still look like a high schooler. Should I be complimented by that or offended by that or both?
I feel like the mask makes you look older.
Does it?
Really? How can I help?
Well,
it's the eyes.
Is that it? Well, who knew?
High schooler.
Yeah, apparently. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Tobias says that he'll do it, but he wants 10%.
Deal.
I think we just
easy enough.
I think we just made a business deal live on Duck Insider. This is great.
Let's go, Tobias.
Hey, I know you got a media shoot to get to, so I'm gonna let you go. Even though I got through about half my bullet points. That's what happens when.
That's what we do.
When Coach and I talk.
That's my whole point, is just to distract you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that.
I think so.
Yeah, I think in this world we all take ourselves a little too seriously, except you, of course.
Of course.
And so, we need that. We need that in the world. Thanks for being here.
I'm taking this with me.
Are you really?
I am.
Dang.
Permission?
I think that I'm
putting it in the window.
I think that I'm gonna get outvoted if I veto. It was gonna go and live.
I'm gonna go put it maybe in Kelly or Dana's office because they're higher up, and just so everybody can see it.
Kelly and Dana both, Coach Altman and Coach Graves would be like, we're putting that in the shredder.
Do you think they would notice?
Yes.
Do you think they would?
Yes.
If it was facing the other way?
I really do.
I don't know. I'm gonna go investigate.
Well, I was gonna ask you though. Did before you go, did you get your painting from August Rasky for your office? Oh, I need to come see it. All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
It's really nice too.
Yeah, I'm gonna come over there.
I'll do a little video thing.
Thanks.
Next week
We need the office tour, and you can really go in depth with us.
Yeah, one of these times we should go on location.
We can do that.
Yeah.
We could go record and do it there. Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
We've done that before. All right, hey, I'm gonna give you a fist bump.
Thank you.
And then we'll.
Thanks. Oh, excellent. There you are.
That's pretty good, right?
Okay, go Ducks.
That's good. Go Ducks. Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach. Green and yellow scrimmage on Saturday, 4 o'clock. More details, Matthew Knight Arena and GoDucks.com. When we come back, talking a little football. Also, Rob Moseley is going to join us, and a happy belated birthday to Coach Ulmer. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Okay, man, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You know, it's always interesting with Coach Ulmer. I think we constantly raise each other's levels of, like, messing with each other. And today I thought we did great. You know, we had a happy birthday. I don't even know, an animation. Yeah, it was an animation. We had that for him. And then next thing you know, we've got a cardboard cutout that I happened to find around the office today, and then it walked out of the office again today. So true story, everybody. We had been looking for the cardboard cutout for me and Scott, and I still can't find Scott's. We've been looking for those for months, like months. And then I found it today, and of course now it's going to go live in Coach Ulmer's office. Yeah, if you're apparently, according to Coach, he was on his way out. If you're on Villard Street, you're gonna see a pretty bad cardboard cutout, that's for sure. Meanwhile, today Oregon football was practicing. They did a walkthrough inside the Mashofsky Center. Talked with a lot of the offensive linemen today, and it was a good conversation with guys like Ryan Walk and George Moore. I want to get to those for you. Before we do, the Autzen Duck Store is officially reopened. Yes. That means that our friend Michelle, who runs the Autzen Duck Store, is finally there to A, take my money, and B, she makes the best hot chocolate I've ever had. I don't even want to know what's in it, but it's the best hot chocolate that I've ever had. We're getting into those months here soon, and I hope, to be honest, I hope sooner than later, because I'm not in for this 104 degrees that's going to be going on at practice tomorrow. Ducks will be in full pads tomorrow, so it was a mental sweat walkthrough day today. And of note, though, with the Duck Store real quick, it's a free plush football promotion going on this weekend. The first 200 visitors, that's right, first 200 visitors to the Autzen Duck Store, free plush football pillow for the first 200 people at the Autzen Duck Store. Pretty cool. We'll tell you more about that coming up. Ryan Walk, one of the favorites, I think, for all of us to talk to. He's just got a great personality. Ryan Walk met with me today. I got a chance to catch up with the Eugene native, talking a little bit about the offensive line, and we got to a few other things as well with Ryan Walk. Tell us a little bit about how it's gone so far. You guys have wrapped up the walkthrough. Well, how's it been going?
Good. I think we've had some really high-level practices. I think our physicality's been good. Just looking to elevate that every day from what we do on the practice field to in the weight room to in the meetings every single day.
All right. What's the young crew look like? You've done this a time or two, so tell us about these young guys that you're competing with.
These young guys are extremely talented. Jackson, Kingsley, Bram, Jonah, all these guys are really talented. Jackson and Kingsley really stand out so far. Jackson's level of physicality is unbelievable. His attention to detail, his work ethic, extremely high level. One of the best I've seen from a young guy. And Kingsley's just a physical freak, and those guys are going to be extremely good football players.
What's the first piece of advice that you give to a young offensive lineman when they walk in the door?
Learn the offense, understand the technique and fundamentals, because then you can play fast. Once you can play fast, you can play physical, and from there, sky's the limit.
First scrimmage on Saturday. It's in Autzen Stadium. You guys anticipating just a lot of fun out there? What do you look for in a first scrimmage?
High energy. Should be a lot of energy out there. We're always fired up to get on the field and compete. So I think the energy levels will be really high, and that's what we're looking for.
How deep is this offensive line group? How do you put it into words for us?
Very deep. I think we got 8-9 guys we can win with confidently that we can throw out there in any order, any group. And we feel confident that we can go out there and be successful and do the things we want to do as an offense.
For you yourself, versatility, I know, is something that you focus on. The entire offensive line group is really focused on. How versatile are all the individuals on the line this year?
Very versatile. Coach Mirabal makes sure he cross-trains us all the time. He works us at guard, tackle, center. Well, not me at tackle. I'm a little short, but guard and center for me, both sides. And then, he works a lot of guys in at guard, tackle, center, so that, we got a lot of versatility. A lot of guys can play a lot of different spots.
Hey, you're joking about that, but you probably could play tackle, couldn't you, if you had to?
It'd be a struggle, but yeah, I could probably do it.
All right, talk to us a little bit about just the experience and anticipation of having fans back into Autzen Stadium. I mean, how much are you guys thinking about that right now? Just kind of looking forward to that.
I think we're all really excited about it. That's a huge element of Autzen Stadium and the experience at Oregon, and so to get that back this year, we're all really looking forward to it.
How good's the defensive line this year so far?
Really good. They've a lot of that 2019 class has really developed and grown, and Jason Jones has really improved a lot, and he's going to be a big person to look out for. And Popo is always really good. He's awesome as a defensive lineman. So I think we got a really good group on that side.
Who do you battle with the most in practice so far?
Probably Dorless. He and I always have something to say to each other.
It seems like Dorless has kind of come into a leadership role. Have you kind of seen that on the defensive line?
Yeah, I think that's been asked of him, and he's done a great job stepping into that role. He's got a great work ethic, so guys are going to follow what he says. So it's a great person for that role.
Thanks for the time, buddy.
Of course, thank you.
Man, it's always fun catching up with Ryan Walk. A couple years ago, he did the Throwback Thursday Best Oregon Memories version of the Quack Minute with myself and Rob Moseley, who's going to join us coming up in just a little while. Rob is. And, it was a lot of fun just hearing from a guy who grew up at Autzen Stadium. Now he's playing for the Ducks, and he's really contributed to this team, not just on the field, but I think behind the scenes. He's just such a leader for that group. This is a fun offensive line to watch in practice right now. A lot of guys that are competing for some valuable minutes. Seems like they've got maybe 8-9 guys that can really rotate through. Quick timeout. We went a little longer than normal, as we normally do, with Coach Ulmer. And we're going to hear from one George Moore, another veteran on the offensive line. When we return, it's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. They can help save lives by not having play dates. That's right. By replacing get-togethers with virtual play dates and video chats, they can help slow the evil spread of germs. And if your superheroes do go outside, make sure they continue their superhero wing by staying 6 feet away from others to protect everyone in America land. Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mackett in the Country Financial Studio. Going to talk with Rob Moseley in just a little while, the GoDucks.com editor-in-chief. He's working on his practice report from the Ducks walkthrough today. We'll talk with him about his thoughts so far and maybe something about the offensive line. I got the chance to catch up with George Moore today as well. We just heard from Ryan Walk, and George is a veteran. He's been through this a time or two. He's the oldest guy on the roster. And there's a lot of competition in that room right now, but I think he's really established himself as a leader. He's played a lot of left tackle, and we found out today he's played a little bit of guard as well. We talked about a number of different things with offensive lineman George Moore after practice today. Hey, we were just talking with Ryan about this, just the depth of this group. How deep is this offensive line group this year?
Well, with the experience we have in the past, I mean, this probably is the deepest we ever had here. I think we got up to 4 groups that's learning this offense that could play. That's all getting mixed together. So, I mean, that's a lot of guys just compared to what we had in the past. And, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of guys, honestly.
What's the young group like? And what do you see from some of the young guys that you're competing with in that room?
I see a lot of strength, a lot of versatility. It's talking about Jackson, Kingsley, Hartford. Everybody's moving around. I mean, Jackson go from right guard to center to left guard. Harp going to center, right guard. JD go to, so everybody's going everywhere. I mean, I'm even playing guard. So, I mean, we all just trying to learn. That's the best way we can learn the system fully in and out instead of just knowing one position. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, yeah.
You've experienced that now with coaches that emphasize that versatility. What's that done for your game as an individual? How key is that for an offensive lineman?
I mean, just speaking for myself, I feel like that helps you a lot. It just helps you learn the offense completely ins and out. You know what your guard's doing. You know what basically Coach Mirabal always say. You need to know what the guy next to you is always doing. So. Yeah, just learning guard, knowing how their feet work and their technique is going to be on a guy that's a two-eye, two technique. And me being at tackle, I know to take the right steps because I know where his feet's going to be. Center, playing next to a center, I mean, it's a lot different. Just not knowing where his feet is and where he's going to be and all that stuff. So, I mean, that helps a lot. It brought my game to a whole new level. I mean, being at guard instead of just tackle, it puts me in like a smaller box. I got to get my feet in the ground, got to get my hands on the guy right then and there. So it just helps. It helps with your feet. It helps with you bending your knees. It makes you see the game, and it helps, like Coach Mirabal always say, play without blinders. So, like, you just take the blinders off.
What's it been like going against this defensive line? How good's this group this year?
Oh, this group? I mean, they took the next step. Speaking with Coach Joe all the time, he's just saying we need to keep taking that next step. And they're very physical. Very physical. They move well. Very strong. Everything. Everything you could think of in a D lineman, I mean, they got it, And every day they go out there and compete. Nobody complains. We always keep each other, we know we're not out there, arguing, fight. We all know that every day we got to go out there and compete and just keep trying to make each other better. Because at the end of the day, we just trying to, play Oregon brand football. And that is a physical, explosive, strong, downhill type of game. So that's great. Yeah, they're great.
Who do you battle with on the line the most?
I go against, they slide into different fronts here and there. Dorless, Brandon, usually KT, all those guys, Adrian Jackson's a lot of defense end, all those outside backer guys and stuff like that, yeah.
I think fans always anticipate when you guys scrimmage for the first time in fall camp. Is that an anticipation for a player as well? Is that something you guys look forward to with that first scrimmage on Saturday?
Yeah, 100%. You got to treat it like a game, You go out there, they got the music playing. They treat it, Coach Cristobal makes it game-like as much as possible. And, I mean, they make it to where it's like a game. The only thing that we don't have is fans. You know what I'm saying? We go out there, we lock in, we do our pregame stuff. We do all our stuff to get ready for that scrimmage. But, yeah, we all looked at it as a game, like it's our first game. As if we was playing on Saturday, it'll be September 4th or whatever our first game is. You go out there with that mentality to be physical and be strong and, just put all that stuff on tape because you want to, put your best on tape. So,
yeah, talking about fans, I mean, planning for a full Autzen Stadium, just what's that mean to you guys? How much anticipation is there to get back to that sort of normalcy for football?
I mean, our fan base is the best fan base in the world, in any sport, honestly. They're so faithful, and just it's going to be a crazy feeling. I remember my first time running out the tunnel and just, getting the chills and seeing all those people cheering and just supporting. And I feel like for this season coming up, I mean, everybody's excited. I think we're more excited than the fans actually are just to, give those people that loves this game so much that can't play it and just want to support to give them what they want to see, just that joy, that enjoyment and all that happiness and all that stuff like that. So, I mean, I feel like with this upcoming season, it's gonna be a fun season ahead of us.
Back to the young guys for a second. What's the first piece of advice that you give a young offensive lineman when they step onto campus here?
To just soak up all the knowledge you can. Just when you coming in, coaches talk about competing and all that stuff when you first get here and learning, but Coach Mirabal always say you got to learn the what, the why, and the how before you think about competing. So always look to an older guy or a guy that's been there for a year, somebody that's just been there a little bit more than you, to just find the ins and outs. Why are you guys doing it this way? You guys are early to meetings. You guys are, just doing it the right way. Learn to do everything the right way, and then you take that next step to, okay, well, let me learn everything, and then I can learn to compete, and then, just work hard.
Such a thoughtful guy. I always love catching up with George Moore. Ryan Walk zeroing in on the offensive line a little bit today. And when we come back, we're going to talk with Rob Moseley, the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com, his thoughts on practice so far. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Full disclosure, everybody, Rob Moseley had a big lunch today. That's what we were just discussing during the break. You doing okay over there?
If I fall asleep at mid-sentence, you'll know why.
You know, that means it was a great lunch, though.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Am I right?
There's a very authentic Mexican joint that we hit up, and it hit the spot.
Hit the spot. Well done.
Spot, yes.
Well done. Rob Moseley, the editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com, joining us. Hey, it's been a while since we talked, and we've seen a lot more practice since we talked. What are your takeaways so far? If I ask you for the 1-minute version of what you've seen, what do you think so far?
Oh, gosh. I think offensively, we know it definitely looks like the offensive line is going to play a bigger rotation, which Mario Cristobal talked about at Pac-12 Media Day, and we've seen with some of the young guys, Logan Sagapolu, Kingsley Suamataya, Jackson Powers-Johnson, perhaps playing his way into that group. It looks like this could be a line that, can rely on 8 or 9 guys if you can find a way to work out a rotation in a game. Obviously we know about the depth at receiver, and yet despite that, Troy Franklin looks like a guy who can break through and maybe earn some playing time. I think C.J. Verdell and Travis Dye look really, really good. And there's some young talent behind them, but that's a heck of a 1-2 punch. Anthony Brown looks very solid. He's kind of exactly what, that we thought this team needed from him. Be a leader. The amount of times he's on the sideline off to the side with a young guy with his arm around his shoulder, talking him through something he saw, just, whether it's about body language, where it's about execution, anything, might be more than I've ever seen with a quarterback, at least, since I've been internal here. We've had some guys here who, whether it was Mariota or Justin Herbert, who are a little more reticent, a little more kind of lead by example guys. Anthony Brown is a very hands-on, in guys' ears leader, and so that's been impressive to see. Defensively, I think a lot of depth up front. Justin Flowe,
he's good.
Really building on that spring game performance and looking like he can be a factor. And then some uncertainty in the secondary there with some of the lineup questions in terms of player availability, but. I think there's a lot of young talent there, and it was going to be younger guys competing there anyway. So it's just a chance for some different faces to get a chance there.
Yeah, a couple of the guys that I'm curious there too, and like Bennett Williams, for example, we actually talked to yesterday. Didn't get a chance to play it on the show yesterday, but we're going to do that today a little bit later on. Bennett Williams, it's a guy who's just very well spoken, has that veteran presence, and that's kind of what that secondary needs, I think. Any position group needs that, and Bennett Williams certainly is a guy to watch, I think.
Totally, and a guy who plays with a lot of energy, brings a lot of energy to practice. And just a guy I really respect a lot, just for the way he carries himself. Yeah. His demeanor is, positive, uplifting, playing hard, energetic. And, so, if that's your nickel, I feel good about that.
Yeah.
If you're talking about Dante Manning being a guy who's got to step in at corner, well, based on Kayvon Thibodeau a couple years ago and Noah Sewell last year and how Justin Flowe's looking, 5-star guys tend to translate pretty well. Yeah. So, that gives me some confidence there too.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Isn't it amazing, though, that you're sitting here and talking about the depth? This is something we talked about last week too, a little bit, Rob, but Coach talked about it a lot. This is why you build that depth, right? And you want that level of competition. And going back to Anthony Brown for a second, one thing that I've noticed too, and he's doing that with quarterbacks. He's throwing his arm around the younger quarterbacks. And I loved what Anthony Brown's talked about a little bit at Media Day. Just like, I think, hey, some of my role here is to help those guys, right? It's to kind of coach those guys up in a lot of ways. And man, just what we see just by his example, his body language, he's doing that without even having to do it much. And then he goes that extra step. It's cool to see.
Totally. He's the guy potentially who, his legacy on the field, 5-10 years from now, might feel like, kind of one and done. Didn't play very much last year. Say he's the guy this whole year. Kind of like Vernon Adams. That was a fun year, a special year in a lot of ways. But you kind of remember those guys a little different than a guy who's a 3 or 4 year starter. And yet, the way Anthony Brown is conducting himself as a leader, his footprint on this program has the potential to be much larger than just a 1 or 2 year period in terms of how he's helping groom some of those young guys. He's he has the chance to have every bit of a legacy building season or two here as anybody, just with the way he seems to have embraced helping those young guys kind of learn the ropes and get up to speed.
He's Rob Moseley, the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com. Tomorrow's going to be in full pads for the first time. We've addressed it in that Quack Minute. You talked about your practice report, that it's a little different schedule. I'm curious, one, do you get up for that day kind of like, I feel like fans like, oh, yeah, full pads. And then similarly, first scrimmage is scheduled for Saturday. Are you that way now? Like, are you kind of like, oh, I'm going to get up for that, and you're gonna be watching a little more intently for those days?
Yeah, I think the scrimmage for sure just stands out, and it's kind of, we're kind of in the same boat. Groundhog Day does tend to set in. And we have a very passive role at practice. We're just sitting there watching. So I think it's a little even easier for us to kind of slip into kind of just routine. You got to be a little more disciplined to make sure you're paying attention to all the same things, because it just starts to become so repetitive.
You're mentally sweating,
and
Rob.
So trying. You got to stay focused. But the scrimmage is a different kind of day. Full pads. I think I've mentioned this before. I used to feel like that was a big step. That once pads go on, guys can really cut it loose. And then particularly as close as I've been watching practice the last few years. For the linemen, they're cutting it loose to as much as they can. The first day you're not hitting, shoulders and things like that. But I mean, the stuff you're working on with hand placement and footwork, and I mean, that's you're still it's still a very physical position to be playing, even when you're in spider pads and a helmet. And then when shells go on, to those guys, that's basically it. I mean, you're basically in pads. Let's go. You still the way you set up drills, the type of drills you do are still to kind of minimize roll full contact, true like football hitting, but they're going at it. So I used to expect that once full pads are on, it was kind of different, but it's really not. Almost the jump from spiders to shells is a much bigger jump. Just in terms of the contact that the type of contact that players are willing to make than shells to pads. Now again, the kind of drills you script to set up some contact and work on some of those things will be different in full pads. But I think from a player's perspective, once you have shoulder pads on, they feel like they're playing football.
Yeah, and the scrimmage is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, scrimmages are always fun, I think, for us to watch, just because it kind of gives us the first peek, like, oh, okay, this is what we're looking at here, and that's kind of where guys stand, and it's a chance for the guys to prove themselves under the lights a little bit.
Totally, yeah, it's a totally different proving ground than a normal practice, and for as much as you want to embrace every practice as a day to get better and impress the coaching staff, I think everybody looks at scrimmages as kind of first among equals for chances to make an impression. So yeah, that'll be really fun. And yeah, you start to get a sense of, day after day we see the ones and then the twos and then the threes and the fours, and there might be some kind of shuffling between rotations, but a scrimmage is a little better chance to get a sense of, okay, which of the guys that are practicing with the twos are actually kind of de facto ones because they'll be in the game rotation.
Right.
You start to get a little better sense for that in some scrimmage situations.
Meanwhile, no big deal, but Marcus Mariota was on the Mighty Oregon pod.
Dude, I listened to it last night. It was so awesome. It was so – I mean, how can you not love that guy? I love that guy so much, who he is, what he stands for, what he did here. He was so generous with his time. I know he doesn't love talking about himself. He was willing to talk about his upbringing a little bit. And, I mean, it was just – yeah, the problem with listening to the podcast is I have to listen to myself talk. But, luckily the whole point of that job is to kind of present a topic and then get out of the way and then listen to the guest. And, man, it was fun to catch up with him, and I hope people enjoy it. I think people are checking it out. And if that's your introduction to the podcast, hopefully check out past episodes or future episodes. But, man, that's going to be a tough one to top because he's just a home run guy. Yeah. And, I really appreciated him being so generous with his time and kind of being open with some of his memories and impressions.
That was pretty cool. Of course, if you haven't seen the clip about going to Washington, maybe. Man. Could you imagine?
No. No.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Bless Mama Mariota, who talked some sense into the boy in the wake of his
Thank
trip.
You.
Yes.
Thank you.
I always knew she was a saint.
Yeah.
But she just elevated to an even higher plane than sainthood, whatever that is, because she's his whole family's fantastic, and I miss seeing him around because the way it was Marcus and then Matt, it was like 9 years we had him. At least a few times a year they'd come around, and just great people, awesome people, and I always loved catching up with them, and I miss seeing them. So it was just awesome to catch up.
Where you get your podcast, Mighty Oregon Podcast. I always say, Rob, like a good interviewer is really just a professional listener.
Totally.
And I mean, with a guy like that, that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. The Oregon football athletic calendar officially starts on Friday.
Yeah,
which is awesome. Corbin is in town for Oregon soccer, an exhibition at 7:00 on Friday. I bet you'll be there.
I am planning to check it out. I don't have to cover it or anything, but Graham Abel won me over.
Yeah, dude.
Just how cool a guy he is, how engaging a guy he is. He's a guy who makes you want to root for him. But then just watching his program and, just how fun they were to watch, how competitive they were last year, and what they could be setting the stage for. Yeah, I can't wait to just go out and be a fan Friday. And, I know it's an exhibition, and they're going to I assume they're going to try to look at a lot of players, and it's going to be really hot. So, there'll probably be some concessions made for that. But so, you're not looking for any one thing in that particular moment, but just a chance to go out, be a fan, cheer for them, see what could be in store. I'm really excited to go check them out.
I'm in. That's going to be a lot of fun. He's Rob Moseley, the editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com, on Twitter at GoDucksMosley and at DuckFootball. Rob, thanks for being here, buddy.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
you guys.
We're going to get a quick timeout. When we come back, going to hear from Bennett Williams. Said we're going to talk with him a little bit. We'll do that next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to relieve volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor charge characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back at Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. We've got sports this weekend at Oregon. That's right. The Ducks will be for practice purposes in full pads tomorrow, and then a scrimmage is scheduled for Oregon football on Saturday inside Autzen Stadium. Looking forward to that. The Ducks, though, official athletic calendar begins 7 o'clock on Friday when Oregon Soccer hosts Corbin in an exhibition, and the green and yellow scrimmage for Oregon Volleyball inside Matthew Knight Arena at 4 o'clock on Saturday. We are officially watching live Duck sports again, and I cannot be happier about it. That is your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill, where special diet requests and custom orders are always welcome. Menus, nutrition info, cafeyum.com. Guy that we were talking about earlier, Bennett Williams. Rob and I think both agree. If he's your nickel, you feel pretty darn good about that with just the way he carries himself and the way he plays. Got a chance to catch up with him at practice.
How better prepared do you feel like this team is, you are this year compared to last year where you didn't have a spring, you didn't have an off-season training program? Like, where's this team at right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So much further than last year, than the product you saw even on the field last year. Yeah, we made strides, and obviously that off-season, full off-season, to have everybody together and working, you know, instead of kind of separate guys at home and all that, you know, and you can see the camaraderie, you can see that. And so, you know, the strength and the speed and all that physical talent is obviously there from, you know, working out and having a full off season.
Go ahead.
Are you exclusively at the Star right now? Are you playing at all at Boundary, or?
Right now I'm playing just Star, learning all those positions though. Just got to be ready to fill in, you know, at any point. But right now I'm focused on playing that Star position.
Obviously you played a lot of it with the box safety role last year, so just how natural a fit is that role for you? Because clearly, I mean, you love going down and run stopping and playing out.
I love playing that position. I feel probably the most natural at that position. You know, get into stick my nose in there and play in the box and, you know, take on blocks, but then also, you know, sit in coverage and play some man-to-man, play some zone. So it's a great versatile position for me.
You know, Coach Druder talks a lot about job swapping for you guys. I mean, you were talking just a little bit about it for yourself. How about the entire defensive back unit? Just you guys all being versatile. How valuable is that for your team?
Oh, 100%. I mean, you got guys like Verone and Steve, Happel that can play all these positions and have learned them all. So, at any point somebody goes down, or if we just want to give a different look, you got guys that'll do that, and there's no drop off, right? So it's really important for everybody, and we're always constantly learning the entire defense as a whole rather than just the position, and how you fit in. We got to learn the whole defense so you can plug into any spot.
What have you seen from just some of those younger guys like Dante? I know, and even going back to the spring game, you guys were the ones in the spring game, and obviously you are right now all over again. So just Manning in particular, after missing last season, what have you seen from him? Yeah,
Dante, he's a physical talent for sure, and he's got it up here. He's got that mentality, and that's what I love about him. But he's going to be so good. Even from last year, he had some injuries and was battling some stuff, and that's normal for a high school coming into college. playing with those big guys, different speed. But he's adjusted now, and he looks, like he should be out there. We'll see a lot of him this year for sure.
And Vasa working behind you?
Yeah, he's another guy that has made strides. When he first got here, looked like he should play linebacker. Still looks like that, but he moves like he can play DB now. And that's just the work that he's put in. That's a testament to it. So, all those guys have put in a lot of work, and I think that's a thing of the culture around here.
In Andy's defense, he made no secret that whatever you want to call it, star, nickel, was the most critical, the most important, most valuable. In Tim's defense, does that hold true, or is the Joker, because of what he's asked to do, they're both, don't get me wrong, all positions matter, Bennett, but just talking about like the relative value from one defense to another.
Honestly, I don't pay a lot of attention to that and what, which position is featured, what I'm saying. I know that the star does a lot. I still get to do a lot of blitzing, a lot of coverage, and I get to be a central piece in that defense. Obviously, the Joker is a huge another part, dropping a lot into coverage and a lot of stunts and all that stuff. But you can look at any position and say it's equally important. Noah at the mic is a huge part of our defense. Verone playing back there, and Mikhail out there locking it up at corner. So. I can't, put a value on one position, but I see what you're saying.
That's cool stuff there from Bennett Williams. You can just see the way that he carries himself, why I think everyone's excited to see what he brings in terms of leadership and his play into the secondary. The Ducks, I think, pretty darn happy to have him. Busy show today. Thanks to Matt Ulmer and Rob Moseley for joining us. Heard from the offensive line with Ryan Walk and George Moore. A little defense from Bennett Williams. We got more interviews on the Go Ducks YouTube page. I'm actually posting those as we speak and wrap up the show here toward the 2 o'clock hour right now. And tomorrow, it's going to be a busy day on the show. We'll have a ton of interviews for you, the offensive and defensive player interviews from today. We'll have those for you, and also the defensive assistant coaches are going to meet with the media tomorrow. So a slew of interviews. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Duck Insider.
Hey, son. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at soundidouttogether.org.